Oh, hey there, guys. Welcome back to Garage Football. We've just watched West Ham play Arsenal at the London Stadium, where an amazing game where it finished West Ham 3, Arsenal 3. Shame there's not a lot of goals to talk about, but I'm
Not many.
joined by Dennis and Ryan. So anyone that's watching, please subscribe to Garage Football and leave your thoughts on the game, man of the match, etc. in the live chat. So, well, what a game, lads! As I say, 3-3, 6 goals. Amazing game. Dennis, your thoughts overall?
I mean, I cursed it at the beginning. We were talking about, at the very beginning of the game, we were talking about the 3-3 in 2016 where Andy Carroll stole the show. And, Ryan cover years, Bill will agree when Pierre Antonio had 2 goals disallowed that should not have been disallowed fundamentally. And we're talking about, look, and I even said that if we're going to draw a game, I'd rather an exciting 3-3 over a 0-0. Watch the watch along back. I said those exact words. It does feel like a punch in the gut from Anthony Joshua. Like, it really does feel like, you know what, we were 3-0 up half an hour and we were buzzing. And I even said that we need a fourth. We need a fourth. The attacking options Arsenal got on the bench, we need a fourth. And I said that truthfully just to cover myself just in case, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was going to happen.
Said it just in case, yeah.
And even then, I said at half time, I said, look, lads, if we get to the 70th minute and it's 3-1, I'm very confident. But from the beginning of the second half, Lacazette nearly got in for a second and Diop had a clear one off the line, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And that was spelt disaster. That was like, you know, boxing fans out there, that's a bit like someone being dropped in the first round and thinking they're still going to come back. You know, that confidence has been chipped away. They've already been knocked down by their opponent, even though they got up at 2 or 3, you know. But yeah, for me, it was inevitable especially when it got 3-2. For the record, we'll come back to it later. I've got no fault in Dawson because, you know, Aubameyang's going to bury that otherwise. But
yeah,
inevitable. And again, another thing we'll touch on. For me, it comes from my personal opinion, and feel free to disagree with me. I know people have. I think if Moyes has better options on the bench, he makes those changes, or those changes have more of an effect. I think, with the exception of Noble, Lanzini, and Ben Johnson, there's no one on the bench we could have really used that was any better than what we had out there. And even then, they're within touching distance. There's no one on the bench that changes anything, let alone improves, in my opinion. So
yeah, that's it. No, I wouldn't disagree with that. We'll certainly come on to that later. But Ryan, your thoughts, mate? Obviously, must be delighted. 3-0 down to get a point, and possibly if there was 5-10 minutes more play, could have even gone and won the game. But must be desperately disappointed with the first 30 minutes anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was an intense game. Great for a neutral. If anyone's not a West Ham or Arsenal fan, it's so entertaining. But I've got to say, yeah, I joined your watch along earlier, and literally within the first half an hour, I was gutted. I was just like, this is ridiculous. Game over. What's the point to even watch the second half? It's done. Yeah, exactly. And then literally, Lacazette scored that goal right before half time, which I think gave Arsenal that little bit of hope. If it would have been 3-0 at half time, I don't know if Arsenal would have been motivated to come back. I think you would have had it. But it's one of those things. I always said in the second half it was going to go one or two ways. I thought Arsenal were going to massively attack and West Ham would park the bus and Arsenal would either go on to score and come back, or we'd make some terrible errors and West Ham would get the break. And I thought you might have won or destroyed us 4 or 5-0 or 4 or 5-1, I should say. But luckily, we kept going. And in the end, in the second half, I think Arsenal were ruthless. And could have gone on to win 4-3. But there was a couple of chances in the second half where you guys could still have scored your 4th goal.
Oh, yeah.
And so missed and whatnot. That's interesting game for sure.
That's one way of putting it, mate. Well, I mean, Dennis, from a West Ham point of view, that first half hour was absolutely scintillating from us. I mean, it was obviously carbon copy, total opposite really to the whole of the Man United game where we were rubbish, weren't we? But that first half hour, come out of the blocks and took Arsenal to the sword. I mean, good play by us, but a mixture of that and some poor defending from Arsenal that helped us.
It was a happy blend, and that first half an hour, I think I made a comment I made. I mean, again, 90 minutes, in fact, less than that. A common thing I had at university, I said, is that 45 minutes are a lifetime. I said that when we were, I think it was 1-0 or 1-1 with Leicester towards the end of the 11-12 season where we were chasing second place. And I said, look, 45 minutes is a lifetime. We're a lifetime away. A lot can change. And I think we were either 1-0 down or 1-1, or we won that game 2-1. 90 minutes is a lifetime, as is 45. And honestly, 3-0, I remember saying it 8 minutes in, because what we this season we've done, we did it Fulham. We come out of the blocks blasting, and then we sort of settle down, sit back, the team come in, and we don't normally score. The difference was we did score, but 8 minutes in, I was like, we're still attacking, we're still pressing them. We were 2-0 up inside 28 minutes, and then went 3-0 up. And as I said, quietly, I was thinking, right, job done. We might concede one, but job done. Just don't say it outwardly. Yeah. And then we ended up 3-3. I think the last 3-3 draw I felt like this about. I mean, there was shades of the Brighton game last season when was in charge. There was shades of that, but without the defensive errors, being that calamitous in the last box. But also a bit like Fulham game under Kirbishley, mate, where Ben Yoon scored twice in the Great Escape season, where it was just it almost felt like no matter what we did, it wasn't enough. Like Arsenal came at us like a ton of bricks. And from an Arsenal point of view, Ryan, you might think, oh no, I thought we were bang average. But, you attacked us more than a lot of teams did. It did seem like Arteta had done his homework a little bit on certain players, which is why I do refute on my WhatsApp groups. People go, oh, Arteta, why is he still in the job? I think Arteta's an okay manager. I think he's limited with what he's got, personally. Yeah. But I think you did attack us more than a lot of teams would have done. And I think there was a fundamental difference. First off, we played the team, not the badge. Whereas second half, I think we played the badge. I thought we were like, right, let's show them the respect. They got one back, let's not nick one. And then suddenly you nicked one, and then panic stations came in. So it sort of went away. But those first 30 minutes were brilliant. But West Ham fans knew what was coming eventually. Sad.
Yeah, I think it took Arsenal to. That's the thing with Arsenal. That's the downside with us. We are fantastic at attacking, and we did. Arteta has done his research and probably adapted slightly around West Ham, but it took us to go 3-0 down to do that. That's the problem. And we had, we held possession, but did nothing with it. So it's a mixture. I think we'll both look at that. West Ham will look at it and be disappointed that, you didn't execute 3-0 up to win the game, and Arsenal couldn't have sort of had that sort of killer instinct at the beginning to go on to win. So I think both of us are in a way disappointed. Obviously, I'm happy that we haven't lost and come back from a 3-0 down. But I think from both sides, and I know you'll come to that in a second, Dennis, but from both sides, I think we are playing with a limited squad. Arsenal have got the bigger squad. There's no two ways about it. But we just both need more funds and more, signings.
You've got the bigger squad, mate. I can't stress how much down to the bare bones we are.
Oh, absolutely.
I was celebrating the fact that we had a 9-player bench that included 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah, 2 keepers.
We had one a few weeks ago that had 2 goalkeepers in. I think we only had 7 subs. That's how much the board have asset stripped us.
But yeah, I agree, Dennis. But just quickly on how well West Ham played, I have to say, I mean, as I say, it was total opposite to the Man United game. We were passive throughout the whole night, but we came out of the blocks, pressed from the front, harried Arsenal's defence, created a load of chances. Obviously, got the 3 goals. We'll just touch on the 3 goals quickly. I mean, I think Lingard obviously wasn't eligible to play against United, but he's obviously back in the starting lineup today and took his goal really well. Fantastic play down the left by Antonio, and it was a great first touch by Lingard, and then he cut across it, and Leno had no chance. It was finally deserved and the perfect start from us on the quarter of an hour mark. Yeah,
it was an absolutely brilliant goal. For the first goal for Lingard, it was mental. Absolutely mental. And I mean, we'll probably come on to his play for the second goal, but the finish was insane. The half volley to set himself up. He's in my fantasy team, so I'm buzzing. So Souček, that was a mixed bag today for me for Souček, but yeah, one of I'd say possibly our goal of the season.
Oh,
It was good. It was a good move, and obviously the finish as
Fantastic
well.
goal.
And then you mentioned Lingard for the second goal. Bowen with the goal, and it was a couple of minutes afterwards.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
won a free kick on the it was near the edge of Arsenal's box. Really quick thinking, quick free kick. Then Bowen did well, but I have to say, I mean, Ryan,
yeah,
from an Arsenal point of view, that was feeble defending.
I think Leno did.
And
Leno did
and
not cover himself with
yeah,
glory.
Leno shocking for the Bowen's goal.
And I'm a little bit of a defender of Leno, if people remember. I don't think is that as bad as people make out. If you remember from watching us on the Spurs Arsenal watch along last week, mate, I think Leno gets a bit unfair stick, but today he really didn't cover himself in glory.
Yeah, thoughts, Ryan, on that?
No, I'd agree. He did sort of let it down, and my reaction during the watch along, by that point I'd given up. You know, I was watching the game and I just thought that's it. You know, but Leno, I just think, like I say, he did it's defensively as well. We're just all over the place. We don't seem to have the sort of communication. They seem to be all over the place. Like Chambers today was obviously in a different position, worked well for him.
Yeah.
And it's just finding that dynamic. But I think Leno is a great keeper. I would have kept Martinez, different kind of topic, I know. But I do agree with Dennis. I think he's a bit underrated. But today, certainly, I know anyone who sort of disses and criticises him, yeah, it kind of justifies their argument today.
That was poor. And it got worse for Arsenal, much better for West Ham when Souček scored just after half hour. Looked like it was Antonio's goal, but he got above David Luiz, and Souček inadvertently turned it in, and he was onside. He was level with the last man. But even before that, it was a really good cross by Soufal that led to Antonio's header. But again, I'd say it was a mixture of good build-up play by West Ham, but I think Arsenal made it too easy for us.
A little bit, but again, I think we can't talk about Arsenal's complacency over the course of 90 minutes of how complacent we got over 90 minutes. So
yeah. Thoughts, Ryan, on the third goal?
Yeah, again, I think it was technically a good goal, but it's just sloppy from Arsenal, because ultimately it was clever in the sense it was a quick touch from the free kick. And it just happened too quickly. At that point, West Ham were on form. They had that killer instinct, and you can talk about Arsenal's complacency. I think at that point, I just thought, yeah, West Ham had done it. I thought you was going to go on and score a fourth, to be fair. But at that point, I think that's where you sort of started to take your foot off your gas. I think it became, a little bit too easy for you, to the point where you give Arsenal the opportunity. That's when they can take it.
Yeah, I've got to come on to that, mate. So, Arsenal did have a lot of possession, but didn't do much with it, and didn't have a lot of territory. But after West Ham's third goal, their penetration was so much better. Passing forward a lot more, committing bodies in the box. Tierney was getting plenty of crosses down the left-hand side, and a goal was coming, and eventually it did come. Not for the first time in the game. Callum Chambers was named man of the match by Sky. He put in a great cross for Lacazette. Excellent first touch, and he shot a goal. I mean, it was going off target, and it deflected off Souček. So it's a Souček own goal, but the goal was coming, wasn't it, Ryan, from that point?
At that point, you could feel it, because the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, Arsenal were just on full force. Then they were pushing for it, and had we not scored that goal, I think it would have been your game. I wouldn't have seen Arsenal coming back and score 3 goals in the second half. You never really know. But that gave us the hope, and it was a great strike from Lacazette. There was no saving that. So at that point, I've got to ask you guys. I mean, when we did score that goal, Dennis, what do you think when Lacazette scored? Obviously, he was 3-1 up, still comfortable lead. Did you kind of think, oh no, for the second half?
I didn't. If I'm honest, and I said it again, it's on live on YouTube for people saying, "Oh yeah, Dennis, you're saying that now." But I said it at the time that I said, "Look, if 3-1, I'm not." I said I'm not particularly worried about being 3-1 up. What I'm worried about is us conceding a goal in the first 20 minutes of the second half, and we did that. And that was when I got it. I said, if we are still 3-1 up with 20 minutes to go, so 20-25, that allow 5 minutes either way. I said 70 minutes, still 3-1 up, more than confident us closing it out. You get a 3-2, then suddenly it's what I think Fergie liked to call squeaky bum time. You know, everyone's worried to make a mistake. Everyone's marking their man tight. Someone gets turned. Oh my God. Cross into the corridor of uncertainty. Anything can happen. That's what happened with the Dawson goal for 3-2. You know, and it was the corridor of uncertainty again for the 3-3 equaliser when Lacazette pretty much had a free header, you know. And so I wasn't too bothered at half time, but as time drew on, I became more bothered. If you can follow what I'm saying, is that if we kept it at 3-1, if Dawson somehow buries that into Rose instead of scoring the own goal, it's a different story. All if buts and maybes. Soucek doesn't get a touch on that. I think Lacazette's shot's going wide, which is why.
Yeah, it was. That's why it was an own goal.
You know? Yeah, it's going wide. Different story, like you're saying, Ryan. You and I said this, and then Bill, you're my witness to this. The Spurs Arsenal game when Arsenal equalised in the 43rd minute. I said, well, Spurs, they've gone off buzzing. Spurs are having a bit of an inquest as they come off, like Harry Kane's trying to tell them to sort their lives out and let's get in there. That was pretty much, to a lesser extent, what it was. It was like, right, they've scored. They've been all over us after they've scored. Ooh, a bit like that coming off, rather than, yes, we're 3-0 up. Big difference that makes to a team.
Yeah,
I think this is a rare example as well, no matter what Talk Sport say, that I think if the fans had been in there, I think the fans had rallied them home. Genuinely, with the form we're in, I think you stick fans in there, they'll have rallied them home and carried them on and encouraged them a little bit. I mean, Deck's run later on, as we're going to talk about probably, was insane.
It certainly makes a difference when you've got your fans behind you and it's more your fans than the Arsenal, proportion. It's going to give you that confidence and that boost, and it's going to put Arsenal off. So it could have been a completely different game. But what do you think, Bill? Do you think it would have made a difference if the fans were there?
Yeah, without doubt. And I think for people to say that, we wouldn't have been where we are if we were allowed in at the London Stadium, I think it's naive and it's wrong because we've got a much better team than we've had. It's the best team we've had since we moved stadiums, and it's full of 15, 16 players who are prepared to run for the badge for the full 90 minutes. And if you cut them open, they'll bleed claret and blue. Do you know what I mean? As much as cheesy as that sounds, we haven't had that for 5-6 years or so. So we'll definitely be behind them. And I think they would have given us a better chance of seeing the game out. We've had plenty of tight finishes. Like when we beat Chelsea 1-0, Moyes' first win, I think it was 17-18. We've held on near the end, so that plenty of others. When we beat Arsenal 18-19 as well, that was close, 1-0 again. So I think we would have seen them out. But I think what was key really was the start of the second half for Arsenal was how they carried on from the end of the first half. I think that was key to them, obviously getting a point there. I mean, Ryan, you must have been happy with how they carried on the momentum, and then eventually, through Craig Dawson, unfortunately, got a second goal.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can't complain. I think the second half, if anything, Arsenal were fantastic. The sort of an example of what Arteta wants from his squad. And I suppose you could say it's a shame for you guys if we're thinking that West Ham lacked that killer instinct to sort of go for another goal, to sort of bury the game, just like Arsenal should have made more of the possession in the first half, really. Yeah. So it swings and roundabouts. No one's lost. But I think to you guys, it probably will feel more of a loss than it will for Arsenal. Being a draw.
Yeah, without doubt. And then Arsenal's sort of key players, Odegaard, I think, was very influential in the second half. Callum Chambers, we mentioned earlier, a couple of good crosses. And and then Lacazette was, you mentioned it earlier, where you get Diop cleared off the line. You said that, Dennis, didn't you? So it seemed like a second goal. You're absolutely right, Dennis. If we got past the first 15-20 minutes, and we were digging in the trenches, weren't we? And if we held firm and got to 70 minutes, 75 minutes with still a 2-goal lead, I would have fancied this. But I think I said it in our live stream that if we get past this period, I'd be a lot more confident. But then, just as I finish my sentence, Craig Dawson sticks it right in the back of the net. So,
but if he doesn't, if he doesn't touch that, man, I'm telling you, Aubameyang buries it. So it's that or nothing.
Oh yeah.
It's as much as it could be seen as he scored an own goal. Oh, that's rubbish. But he'd be absolutely slated for not intercepting that.
No,
and Aubameyang gets a free shot.
No,
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying for anyone watching that does understand that if Dawson doesn't do that, mate, it's a guaranteed goal for Arsenal, and at least we might as well try. So I'm not going to fault him, you know.
Well, I think it should have been probably stopped in the build-up because the free kick was given. Bowen went down, but free kick was given to Arsenal, and then we didn't stop the cross. I think I'd be more annoyed at that.
I think there was a bit of controversy about Lacazette putting his hand on the ball because I think a free kick wasn't given or something. There was a bit.
That's where Bowen went down.
Yeah.
But,
ridiculous,
but anyway, I think questionable defending. But even so, mentioned it earlier. When we did go forward, which was rare in the second half in comparison to the first half hour, but we had a couple of chances. The biggest one, which should have won the game for us, with 3-2 up, we would have made it 4-2. Was Antonio hitting the post after. It was a quiet game from Ben Roll's point of view, but he come alive and forced the effort where Antonio hit the post.
Shocking miss that was. I think that would have been game over, and it should have been. That was on a plate for you guys, but sometimes the pressure of the moment can do that, can't it? It was a bit of a funny angle. You could argue it's an easy tap in, but I mean, what do you think, Dennis, on that?
If I say what I think, I'm going to get in a lot to do with Jose Mourinho. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. Can you just imagine? For 1 minute, Bill, if Sebastian Haller had done that?
Yeah.
Can you just imagine? If Sebastian Haller
Twitter would have had a meltdown. Yeah,
I think Twitter would be offline.
Like Instagram was the other day. Yeah.
Twitter would have gone down. As I said, it's nothing on Antonio, but all I'm saying is that people cannot see him as this Superman that's going to do everything and fix everything. This was the problem I had was I think first half he got 2 assists, effectively got a goal that Souček nicked off him. He had a good game, but people would be talking about this miss, and this is where I say that you can't expect. What really frustrated me when Haller was starting up front for us. We go, if Antonio would have, but Antonio might not. He's not Superman. He's not Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a player that does a very good job for us, mostly through work ethic. His ball control is not all that. His shooting accuracy again is not all that. Most of his goals come from headers, and again, you can't really fault him for that miss. It's a heat of the moment thing. But all I'm saying is if Haller had done that, everyone would be jumping up and down, screaming, throwing things at the wall, saying Antonio would have buried that. Fact is he didn't. And this is what I'm talking about. It's not a knock on Antonio. What I'm saying is that people expect Antonio to bury it every time when he's not an out-and-out forward. He's not he's not, prime Shevchenko, despite what people make out.
But Sebastian Haller's not in this game today, so we don't need to talk
about him. I'm saying, but this is the case in point of if in December Haller had a miss like that, everyone would be screaming Antonio would have buried that. It's proof that Antonio makes mistakes, Antonio misses touches, Antonio stretches but doesn't quite get there. He's not Superman. He's certainly better than Haller, but he's not going to do everything for us, and that's the point I'm.
So that's a fantastic point. If you put another player in that position, that they would have got caned, but he gets special treatment. But that's the thing; you just got to be realistic.
Yeah, I'm not saying special treatment. All I'm saying is that people would cane the player more. That's all. So
I completely agree with that.
But anyway, I think we'll come on to the subs that both sides made because from an Arsenal point of view, it worked out brilliantly on the third goal, which we'll come on to. But I think that just summed up. I mean, Dennis, I'm sure you agree, mate, where, the subs that Moyes made, I think wasn't sure about what else you possibly could have done. Really, brought on Noble and Fredericks. Whereas Arsenal, you look at their bench, they brought on Smith Rowe, Martinelli, and Pepe, who ultimately assisted the third goal. And that was, you have to say, that the bench was the difference today.
100%. I mean, like I said, so we brought on Noble for Bowen, which was frankly a little bit bizarre because Benrahma was the one we were screaming to get off.
Yeah.
And we took off Benrahma for Fredericks, which I think Lingard went out wide left after that. And Moyes, you can't really fault Moyes because he would have had Fornells, and I think Fornells would have done a lot more defensive work on the left-hand side. But ultimately, this is where I come down to that if we had better options on the bench, things might have worked out different.
100%.
I mean, I called him Dithering Dave, and I do think he should have either brought Noble on to plug the midfield a little longer, although Noble was pretty ineffective, or gone 5 at the back, Bun Johnson quicker. But you can't fault him if he does not have faith in what's on his bench, which I think has been clear for quite a while, that Moyes is not happy with his bench.
Yeah, and 2 of them being goalkeepers. He's not going to do a Stuart Pearce and stick.
And 3 of them not playing a minute. 3 players not playing a minute of Premier League football for us.
Yeah,
again, mate of mine's a Liverpool fan that seems to think we have a better bench than Liverpool. He's just totally delusional. Delusional. He's like, oh, you got Benrahma. And I'm like, yeah, we also have several players that have not played a minute of Premier League football and only 3 players that are not centre-backs that are over the age of 18. But okay, He also seems to think that that Lanzini is, a world beater. And I'm like, he was, but he's not after his injury. So it's just like, I touch this guy. But yeah, fundamentally, back to the point, is that I think Moyes doesn't have faith in his bench. I think the problems were there. Any manager worth their bloody salt could see it. And I refuse to believe that Moyes didn't. I just think he felt that what he had on the bench was not going to cut it. It's not like what it was towards the end of last season. Because, I think this game was made for a Robert Snodgrass just to come on, hold the ball up and ping a ball in. If he had Snodgrass to come on instead of Benrahma, let's say Fornell's injured, we keep hold of Snodgrass, who hasn't really pulled up trees at West Brom as far as I'm concerned, But he would never, even then, historically, he wouldn't use the option of Snodgrass. But there was only 4 players on the bench he could have brought on. He brought 3 of them on, and it didn't, or 2 of them on. It didn't really work out.
Ryan, as the half was going on, Arsenal ran out of time. Did you feel an equaliser was coming, or do you think you'd, as I say, maybe run out of time?
I was starting to have belief when we scored the second goal. I thought, here we go now, because we didn't really sort of run out. There was Antonio nearly scored that goal, and that would have been game over. And there was a couple of times where I thought, well, we're not out of the woods here. But I don't know. I had no expectations, but yeah, there was a part of me that thought it was possible. And when we scored, that's when my views changed. I actually thought we could then have a further upset and actually come and win. So was my prediction that we'd come back and be 3-3. I wasn't so confident on that. But when we'd scored the goal, I was expecting us to come back and win. So in some ways, it was a weird contrast that I wasn't expecting to come back and draw. But then I was a bit gutted that we didn't come and score the 4th goal. So it's just the momentum changes, doesn't it? All of a sudden, when you get that second goal, your game on, when you equalise and you've got 5-10 minutes to go, it's like, right, okay, we can do this. So it's just been such an unpredictable game, isn't it? Like first half, West Ham 3-0 up and then 3-1. Like you say, if you'd have held the score up to the 70th minute, I don't think Arsenal would have come back.
And yeah, that was my thinking, is that we held it 70th minute. I think 2 goals in 20 minutes would have gone down, but yeah.
But yeah, Arsenal do get the equaliser. One of the subs, as we mentioned, Nicola Pepe, fantastic cross to the back post, and like I say, he probably deserved the goal today based on his performance. And Rose, fantastic header, and the comeback was complete. So obviously Ryan, saw you would lose their reaction after Lacazette scored, but you must have been happy with obviously the goal and how Lacazette led the line today.
Oh, beyond belief, yeah. I'm well happy with the team. I think second half, I can't complain. I think Lacazette was on form. Chambers, obviously man of the match for a reason. Saka played well. Aubameyang was all right in places. but nothing special. But can't really fault Arsenal in the second half. Whatever that team talk was from Arteta, it must have been like, right, all guns blazing now. We've got nothing to lose. Attack, attack, attack. And if you do, if West Ham do get the break and they end up winning, then you've tried. It must have been that kind of talk where it's like you've got nothing to lose now. You're 3-1 down. And it's obviously paid off.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, we can question West Ham in the second half. I think Arsenal, they did play some good stuff, create chances. So, I don't think it was an equaliser was that much of a surprise, to be honest with you.
Not around that time, no.
And then if the game went on for another 5 minutes or so, I think Arsenal actually do get a winner. But eventually, full-time whistle blows. It's 3-3 in a fantastic game. Obviously, both sides are disappointed in one way. West Ham obviously being 3-0 after half hour and only drawing. But from an Arsenal point of view, being absolutely terrible in that first half hour, but having the mentality and the ticker, as Australian cricketers would say, having that mentality and belief to come back, which earlier in the season Arsenal didn't have. And how many years have we said where Arsenal have had a soft underbelly and rolled over?
How many times have we gone ahead against Arsenal and capitulated? I mean, we spoke about this at the beginning. There was a bit where me and Angus got our games mixed up because they both went the same way. We went 1-0 up, we dominated, and we lost 3-1. So at home in the 1920 season and away in the 18-19 season, we went 1-0 up at the Emirates in August 2018. Arnie put us 1-0 up. Ryan, you might remember this bit, but we absolutely dominated you. So many chances to make it 2-0. And somehow won 3-1, and it's still a mystery to me. And then we had the one where Martin was in goal. Martin was at fault for the third goal, but it was just we let in two soft goals. Martinelli scored one, and I think Pep scored the other.
Yeah, Pepe, he scored.
Pepe and Martinelli scored, and someone scored the third. I can't remember who.
I think it was.
It was like how we lost that
game. That's the thing, Dennis. That's the thing against Arsenal. It always seems to go Arsenal's way. I mean, I think it was the 50th meeting today in the Premier League, and West Ham have only won 8 of them, I think. So historically, over this Premier League era, Arsenal have always had the better of us, whether if they're fighting for championships or hovering in the mid-table as they are now, they still seem to have the wood over us. And that was the sort of same again today, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was going to be changed completely. Looking at the first half, that's probably the strongest performance West Ham's had against Arsenal. And I know you obviously, like you said, we won 3-1, but you look so strong in that first half. And you've got to give David Moyes a lot of credit for that, to make the most out of that squad. He's certainly made a big... I know this isn't a podcast to talk about Moyes, but he's certainly given you guys a boost. And I think that's probably the strongest West Ham side that I've seen face Arsenal, where I've actually feared you.
Honestly, the starting 11, Ryan, is as good as we've ever had overall, in my opinion. Of course, certain players would fit in. So if I go in my lifetime, I'd rather have Di Canio, Joe Cole, and Rio Ferdinand that played in my lifetime for West Ham in that team. But overall 11s, I'm struggling to think of any better that's overall. Only that 1920 18-19 Redknapp team is the only one that comes close. It's just the fact
98, 99.
Sorry, I'm losing my words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
the benches. There's nothing there. There's competent Premier League replacements that drastic is the equivalent of Football Manager of having 3.5-star team, but your bench is full of 2-star players.
Yeah,
but you got youth players
if you fight, sorry, Dennis, if you're fighting for Europe, obviously they're not. If we were fighting relegation, it'd probably be good enough. But if you're fighting for European places as we are, then
it's ridiculous. Yeah. There's a reason Mickey Antonio plays 90 minutes despite being completely knackered and gassed after 65. Is that we've got a young lad called Odubeku who is a lot of pace and a lot of good prospect, but Moyes doesn't think he's ready. And as much as you could turn around and slate Moyes saying, why aren't you giving the kid a chance? You won't know he's ready till he plays. How many times have we seen young players up and down the country, not just for West Ham, be given a chance a little bit too early, their confidence beaten out of them, and then never make it,
All you can hope, though, and I know this is for another video, really, but all you can hope for is if you do get into Europe this year, even if it's top 6 Europa League, that's going to open up more funds, in theory.
Whether we spend it or not is another question.
Whether it's spent on this or a new penthouse for David Sullivan's kid or something, who knows? I'm saying that not even libelous. I'm just saying hypothetically, it could go on anything. Knowing West Ham, I'd like to see it invested in a recruitment department and better training grounds. If we're not going to invest it on big players, then make it worth something. So if we're not going to go out there and sign all the players we need, sign Lingard permanently and maybe another backup striker, live to fight another day and be happy with hopefully a top 10 finish, and invest it like, let's say we get 40 million for finishing sixth, for example, invest 10-15 million in a recruitment, like top of the range recruitment stuff, then 20 million in the training pitches, and then build from that, and in 10 years time reap the benefit. I'd much prefer that than spending 50 million on 3 players, one of which might work out. We're not going to fix it in one transfer window. We need about 7 players. And 5 of those players are just going to be backups. They need to understand their backups, so they're not going to be top quality players, they're going to be subpar or over the hill players. So I'd rather invest in recruitment to get players on the up to be your backups that could come in and develop. So that's my 2 pence on it. So
absolutely. All right. Well, 36 minutes has flown by, lads. A lot of good stuff to talk about. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up?
No, I think that's pretty good. I think it was a great game, especially for Arsenal to come back. But also, although you guys are definitely disappointed as an Arsenal fan now, I know you're 3-0 up and you drew. To see West Ham play the way you did in the first half with the squad you've got, like with the that you just discussed, I think it's promising signs. I think you are going slowly in the right direction. So that's all I can say.
No, I think it's shown how far we come where we're disappointed to only draw against Arsenal, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I take away from it. I'd say there's nothing more to add other than that. Is that, the only thing I was going to say is, I said at the beginning, this is a game where, although I think we can win, and I want to win, as long as we don't walk away with nothing, like a draw with no injuries and no red cards, it's better than a punch in the face. It's better than losing or drawing. But, Declan Rice is out for the season and Soucek and Soufal are both sent off because of the bad tackle or something. We live to fight. We've got a big game Monday against Wolves, who are hit and miss, but we historically struggle against. I think we've lost every game against Wolves since they've been promoted.
Apart from this season when we beat them.
No, sorry, 4-0. So, okay. So before then, I forgot about that. But again, but historically, so what I mean is that we haven't done very well against them. So
certainly at Molyneux anyway.
We need to win. We need to win against Wolves. We need to win Monday night against Wolves now. Keep on track. I'll be more than happy with 6th or 7th based on how we started this season. So
I thought we all would have, mate. All right, nice one. Well, Ryan, Dennis, thanks for joining us, lads. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to Gage if you're new. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Follow us on the socials. Check out our other content as well. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.